Hello, we now enter into the second Sunday of Lent, and this Sunday we will look at the Gospel about the Transfiguration of the Lord. And the Gospel this week is also the Gospel of Luke. Jesus took Peter, John, and James and went up the mountain to pray. While he was praying, his face changed in appearance, and his clothing became dazzling white. So here, the Transfiguration of Christ. And behold, two men were conversing with him, Moses and Eliah. Moses would represent the law of the Old Testament tradition, and Eliah would represent the prophet and prophetic tradition of the Old Testament. So they would both represent the whole Testament tradition. And so they were conversing with him, Moses and Eliah, who appeared in glory and spoke. That means this is about Moses and Eliah, and spoke of his exodus. That means Jesus' exodus that he was going to accomplish in Jerusalem. That means his resurrection and victory over death and sin. Peter and his companions had been overcome by sleep, but becoming fully awake, they saw his glory and the two men standing with him. As they were about to part from him, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Eliah." But he did not know what he was saying. That means Peter did not know what he was saying. While he was still speaking, a cloud came and cast a shadow over them, and they became frightened when they entered the cloud. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my chosen son, listen to him." The voice would be God the Father's voice. "This is my chosen son, listen to him." So Jesus would be God the Son, chosen son, listen to him. After the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. They fell silent and did not at that time tell anyone what they had seen. This would be about the 3 apostles. So here, this week we talk about the Transfiguration of the Lord. And second Sunday of Lent, Transfiguration of the Lord. This is a special episode for us. While praying, Jesus' face changed in appearance, and his clothing became dazzling white. That would be the Transfiguration. Moses, representing the tradition of the law tradition of the Old Testament, and Eliah, representing the prophetic tradition of the Old Testament. So both of them would represent the Old Testament tradition of the law and prophet, and they were conversing with Jesus. indicative, and this was indicative of Jesus bringing the whole tradition to its fulfillment by his death on the cross. It would be by his death and resurrection. So here we see Jesus connected to the Old Testament through Moses and Elijah, and Jesus' fulfillment of the Old Testament. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my chosen Son, listen to him." So this would be God the Father, voice of God the Father, telling us that Jesus is his chosen Son, and we must listen to him. They were telling, the voice was informing the three apostles, and that they will pass it on to us. But at first, they did not say anything about it. Okay, so here we must also remember that during Lent, what we mentioned last Sunday about what we should do during Lent. We must continue to do it throughout Lent, throughout the Sundays of Lent. This is the second Sunday, but we still have to prepare ourselves to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. Okay? God bless.